Your whole life is a lie. That person you see in the mirror, with a name, a story, and an endless list of problems, is not you. It's a character, and you're so deep in the role that you forgot you're the actor. But the truth, the scariest truth of all, was recorded millennia ago by Thoth, the scribe of the gods, before it was systematically erased from our history. He revealed that you are not human. You are God himself, in a state of self-imposed amnesia, and the proof isn't in some ancient temple or dusty book. The proof is happening right now inside your head. Every time you worry about money, you are literally, as God, creating scarcity. Every fear of illness you feel is a divine decree for your body to become sick. Your imagination is not a fantasy, it's the control panel of the universe, and you've been using the power to create worlds to build your own prison cell day after day. But if you're seeing this video, it's not by accident. It's a sign that the amnesia is starting to fail. Stay with me until the end, because I'm not just going to prove to you that this is real. I'm going to show you the exact mechanism they used to erase your divine memory and hand you the key to recover it. What you're about to discover in the next few minutes will change not just your future, but the very nature of who you think you are. Do not give your soul to the brothers of darkness. Always keep your face turned toward the light. You think these thoughts are yours, but the truth is they were implanted. There is a silent war for your mind, and you're on the front lines without even knowing the battle has begun. Every morning, when you turn on the TV or scroll through your phone feed, you're opening a portal. But it's not a portal to information, it's a portal to your mind. And on the other side, there are architects of reality whose only goal is to hijack your creative power. They don't use physical weapons. They use the most effective weapons there are: fear, doubt, distraction, and desire. They create a narrative of scarcity, conflict, and danger, and repeat it endlessly until it becomes your own inner voice. This isn't some vague conspiracy theory, it's the mechanics of modern propaganda. It's a dark alchemical process operated on a global scale. The ancient alchemists would have called this a manipulation of the principle solve et coagula. First, they dissolve, solve your inner peace, your certainty, and your self-confidence with a constant stream of terrifying news and unreachable ideals. They make you feel inadequate, insecure, and afraid. Once your mind is in that dissolved and chaotic state, they present the solution: a product to buy, a politician to elect, an enemy to hate. And then they coagulate that solution into your mind, solidifying a new reality of dependence and control. Thoth, the scribe of the gods, warned about this in his emerald tablets, speaking of the brothers of darkness. He said, "Beware of the brothers of darkness. They move through man in a darkness that is not of night." This is not literal darkness. It's the darkness of unconsciousness. They operate through your lack of attention, using the light of your awareness to serve their own ends. Every time you get outraged by a headline, every time you feel envy toward a fabricated life on social media, you are unknowingly handing over your divine energy for them to use as raw material in their reality factory. Think of it as a farm. But instead of harvesting corn or wheat, they harvest your attention and your emotion. Your emotional energy is the most valuable currency in the universe, and you give it away for free every day. They keep you busy chasing carrots on a treadmill, always looking for the next promotion, the next gadget, the next external validation, so you never have the time or energy to stop and ask, who benefits from my exhaustion? Who profits from my fear? You become a pawn in a game you didn't even know you were playing, moving according to rules they created. The mechanism is subtle, but relentless. They create a problem, report the panic reaction, and then offer the solution they had prepared from the beginning. Whether in politics, economics, or culture, the pattern is the same. They don't want you to think for yourself. They want you to react. A person who reacts is predictable and controllable. A person who thinks, who questions, who looks inward for answers is a threat to the whole system. They teach you to seek happiness outside of yourself so that you never discover it was always within. Judas, the secret of the traitor who sets you free. But what if I told you that the key to disarming this manipulation was hidden in the story of the greatest traitor of all time? The figure of Judas is not what you were told. For 2 millennia, he has been painted as the ultimate villain, the symbol of betrayal and greed, but that's the superficial version of the story, the narrative created for the masses, to keep you looking outward, judging a historical figure instead of understanding the deep psychological truth he represents. To unravel this mystery, we need to use relentless logic, the same logic the Apostle Paul used. He said, "No one knows the thoughts of a man except the spirit of that man." In the same way, no one could know the secrets of God except the Spirit of God himself. Think about that for a moment. If Jesus was the manifestation of God on earth, and his plans were God's plans, who could betray him? Who could know the exact moment, the exact place, and the exact way to deliver the divine secret so that the greater plan could be fulfilled? It couldn't be a stranger. It couldn't be a distant enemy. It had to be the closest one, the most intimate one, the one who shared the same bread. It had to be the very revealing Spirit of God. The word betray, in its root, also means to reveal, to deliver. Judas didn't betray Jesus in the human sense of stabbing in the back. He revealed the divine secret to the world. The secret is this: the saving power, the Christ consciousness, is not an external figure who will one day come to rescue you. It is a force that already operates within you as your own imagination. Judas, whose Hebrew name Yehuda means praise or hand of God, represents the courage to reveal this forbidden truth. He is the hand of God that points inward, not to the sky. He is the part of your own consciousness that finally dares to say, "The Savior you are looking for is me. The power you are waiting for is here now." In your ability to imagine and feel. In the Corpus Hermeticum, the collection of texts attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, the Greco-Egyptian form of Thoth, the master teaches his disciple that the knowledge of God can only be attained through nous, the divine mind. Judas, in this esoteric context, represents that nous, the mind that dares to reveal the secret of the universal mind. He is the embodiment of the Hermetic principle of correspondence in action. As above, so below. The divine drama that unfolded in the skies of Judea is, in truth, a symbolic script of the psychological process of revelation that must occur within each of us. The story of Judas receiving the bread at the Last Supper is not a trivial detail. The bread symbolizes the body, the substance, the truth. He was the only one to whom Jesus gave the bread directly, an act that designated him not as the traitor, but as the heir. the bearer of the revelation. He had to deliver the physical body of Jesus so that the Spirit, the universal truth, could be released to all humanity. He played the hardest and most misunderstood role, the role of the catalyst that forces the transformation from literal to spiritual, from external to internal. When you understand this, the entire religious narrative is transformed. Understanding that the power is within you is the first step. But how do you use it? The answer lies in an ancient vision of a prophet in a place we all need to visit, the potter's workshop. The story told in the book of Jeremiah seems simple. God tells the prophet to go down to the potter's house and watch his work. There, Jeremiah sees the potter shaping a vessel of clay on his wheel, but the vessel becomes marred in his hands. Instead of throwing the clay away, the potter simply kneads it and starts again, shaping it into a new vessel, as it seemed good to him to make. This is not just a parable about craftsmanship. It's the instruction manual for creating reality. The potter, the scriptures say, is the Lord. But who is the Lord? It is your own consciousness, your I am. The clay is your life, the sum of all your circumstances, your health, your finances, your relationships. The potter's wheel is your imagination, always spinning, always creating, always shaping the clay of your life. The marred vessel is your current reality if it doesn't please you. It is the life you've shaped so far, perhaps unconsciously, based on fears and beliefs that were implanted in you. Most people identify with the vessel. They look at their lives and say, "This is who I am, a broken, flawed vessel." But the transformative revelation of Jeremiah's vision is that you are not the vessel. You are the potter. You have the power, at any moment, to knead the clay of your current reality and start again. You don't need to throw the clay away. Don't need to take your own life or run from your existence. You simply need to go down to the potter's workshop, which means turning your attention inward to the laboratory of your mind. There you must honestly observe what you have created. What shape have you given your life? What kind of vessel have you been shaping with your daily thoughts and feelings? This is the heart of the great alchemical work. The broken vessel is the prima materia, the raw material of your life, which often seems chaotic, dark, and worthless. Going down to the workshop is the process of nigredo, the blackening, the phase where you courageously confront the shadows, the negative patterns, and the limiting beliefs you have been sustaining. It is an act of radical honesty with yourself. You look at your creation and take full responsibility for it, without blaming the world, your parents, or the system. You say, "I did this." Once you claim your power as the creator, you can begin the second phase, reshaping the clay. This is the process of albedo, whitening, and rubedo, reddening, where you purify and transmute that raw material. You consciously choose a new form for the vessel. You decide with clarity and intention the life you wish to experience. You don't fight the old form. You simply dissolve it with your attention and begin shaping the new one. You are the alchemist in your own inner laboratory, and your imagination is the secret fire that transforms lead into gold. The method is practical and direct. You stop focusing on the broken vessel. You stop complaining about it, analyzing it, telling everyone how damaged it is. Instead, you put all your attention and feeling into the vision of the new vessel, the perfect vessel you wish to create. Huxley's harvest, the undeniable proof of the law. But this law of reshaping is so precise that it works even when you don't believe in it. And the proof of that came in the most tragic and literal way for a man who dared to challenge it. In the 1930s, the brilliant writer Aldous Huxley, one of the most respected intellectuals of his time, wrote in one of his books a confession that seemed purely philosophical. He said, "I had motives for not wanting the world to have a meaning. Consequently, I assumed that it had none." He thought he was making an intellectual statement about the nature of the universe. In truth, he was signing a decree, planting a seed in his own consciousness. Decades went by. Huxley continued his life of success, fame, and recognition. The seed he had planted seemed forgotten, asleep beneath the soil of his mind. But the law of harvest does not forget. On a night in 1961, a devastating fire swept through the Hollywood Hills. 40 houses were reduced to ashes. One of them was Aldous Huxley's. The fire consumed everything. Unpublished manuscripts entrusted to him, his own life's work, a rare library built over generations, unique works of art. Everything that gave material and tangible meaning to his existence turned to dust. He escaped with only the clothes on his back. The harvest was literal, exact, and merciless. He had declared decades earlier that the world had no meaning, and the universe, like a perfect mirror, responded by removing all material meaning from his life. This tragic event was not a coincidence, not bad luck or fate. It was the physical manifestation of a vibration he himself had sent out. The third Hermetic principle, the principle of vibration, states that nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Huxley's statement was not just a sentence in a book. It was a powerful vibration sent into the mental universe. That vibration didn't disappear into the air. It kept resonating, moving, attracting to itself energies and circumstances of the same frequency. Like an invisible magnet. The long time gap between planting and harvest is what fools most people. We plant seeds of anger, fear, or resentment, and years later, when we reap divorce, illness, or failure, we can't see the connection. We believe we are victims of a cruel and random world. But time, to the universe, is only the measure of the gestation process, the measure of a thought densifying into matter. Huxley's case is chilling proof that the law doesn't care whether you're a famous intellectual or an anonymous farmer. It doesn't care about your beliefs, your excuses, or your ignorance. It operates with the mathematical precision of gravity. Every thought you hold with conviction, every belief you accept as truth, every feeling you nurture in your heart, is an order you give to the universe. And the universe, like the most obedient servant, simply says yes and begins to work to materialize your order, no matter how long it takes. This law is impersonal, but an ancient story teaches us how to use it deliberately to deceive reality and steal the blessing we desire. It's the story of a divine deception. The biblical narrative of Jacob and Esau is much more than a fable about sibling rivalry. It's a detailed instruction manual, a step-by-step guide on how to replace your current reality with a new one. To understand the code, you need to see the characters as symbols of states of consciousness. Esau, the firstborn, hairy and a hunter, represents your current reality, the physical world, coarse, obvious, and factual, confirmed by your senses. Jacob, the second son, smooth-skinned, who lived in tents, represents your desire, the state you want to reach, but which is still invisible, subjective, and unreal to your senses. The father, Isaac, is old and blind. He represents the universal power, the subconscious consciousness, which does not see the world as you do. He does not judge by appearances. He only feels and blesses. The blessing is the manifestation, the materialization of a state of being. And the story shows us exactly how to transfer the blessing from Esau, what you are, to Jacob, what you want to be. The mother, Rebecca, who represents your intuition, instructs Jacob to disguise himself. He covers his arms and neck with goatskins to imitate Esau's feel and wears his brother's clothes to carry his scent. This is the secret. You need to dress yourself with the feeling of your desire already fulfilled. You don't just think about it. You embody it in your imagination. You close your eyes to Esau's obvious world and build a scene that implies your desire is already a fact. And you make this scene so real, so sensorially vivid, that you can feel, touch, and smell the new reality. When Jacob approaches his blind father, Isaac becomes suspicious. The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau, he says. The voice is your reason, your doubt, which still sounds like your old self. But Isaac is not guided by the voice. He is guided by feeling, by touch. He feels the skins, smells the clothes, and, deceived by the inner senses, he gives the blessing to Jacob, believing he is Esau. Once the blessing is given, it cannot be taken back. Reality has been redefined on the invisible plane. This is the alchemical technique of projection. The alchemist, after creating the philosopher's stone, the inner certainty and the feeling of the fulfilled desire, projects that certainty onto the base metal, his external reality. Jacob, by dressing as Esau, is projecting the image and feeling of his desire onto reality. He's not lying in a moral sense. He is applying a higher law, the law of imagination, over a lower one, the law of physical facts. And that, to a Hermeticist, is the definition of a miracle, the intervention of a higher law that overrides a lower one. The faithfulness of the lover, the secret ingredient of creation. But wearing the skin of Jacob requires more than a moment of visualization. It requires a specific kind of loyalty, a persistence that most people confuse with willpower, but is actually something much deeper. Persistence is not mechanical, forced repetition. It's not gritting your teeth and fighting against reality. That's effort, and effort implies doubt. True persistence is faithfulness. It's the same unwavering loyalty a lover has for their beloved that a mother has for her child. You remain faithful to your assumption, to your fulfilled desire, just as you would stay faithful to someone you love deeply. When doubts arise, when the facts of the world scream the opposite, when Esau comes knocking on your door, mocking you, you don't fight, you don't argue. You gently return to the arms of your beloved, to the feeling of your assumption. You remember the blessing you received in the dark. That faithfulness is the secret ingredient. And here is the most shocking and liberating part of all. You don't need to know the how. Trying to figure out the means, to plan the steps, to manipulate the circumstances is counterproductive. That's the voice of Jacob trying to control the process, instead of trusting in the blind power of Isaac. The entire universe is yourself projected outward. Every person you meet, every door that opens, every coincidence that happens, all of it is your own consciousness reorganizing itself to give birth to what you have been faithful to. People who can help you will feel compelled to do so. They'll feel a sudden impulse to call you, to offer you an opportunity, to change their minds in your favor. They'll believe they're acting of their own free will, and they are. But their will and yours have become one at the deepest level of consciousness, united by your act of faithfulness. This is where we fulfill the promise of the title. This mechanism reveals the truth that was erased. Thoth in the Kybalion teaches the principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Your focused consciousness, your act of imagining and assuming the desire, is the masculine principle. It's the seed. It's the power to impregnate. Your subconscious, the vast invisible universe, is the feminine principle. It's the fertile womb that receives the seed, accepts it without question, and, with faithfulness, gestates it until birth, without needing you to control the process. You are not a human begging a god outside yourself. You are God Himself operating both principles of creation within your own being. You are the father who impregnates with imagination and the mother who gestates with faith and feeling. This is the truth that was hidden beneath layers of religion and dogma. Divinity is not something you attain after death or through complex rituals. It is your own operational mechanism, here and now. You are the creator and the generator of worlds. You are the complete unity of divinity in action. When you understand this, the fear of not knowing how things will happen simply disappears. You plant the seed with love and conviction and then trust the process of gestation with the same faith a pregnant woman has that her body knows exactly how to form her child. You don't need to instruct your heart to beat or your lungs to breathe. In the same way, you don't need to instruct the universe on how to manifest your desire. Your only task is to remain faithful to the conception. And when you master this for yourself, you discover the most extraordinary power of all, the ability to do this for others. Because the separation between you and the world is the greatest illusion of all. We've been taught to see ourselves as islands, as separate and isolated egos competing for resources in an indifferent universe. But that's Esau's perspective, the limited view of the physical senses. The truth, from Jacob's perspective, from the inner vision, is that there is only one consciousness manifesting in billions of different forms. Every person, every animal, every plant, every star is a projection of yourself. The great master Thoth teaches in his tablets, "For know that in the body of man is contained all the universe." And the Corpus Hermeticum confirms, "For there is nothing in all the cosmos that is not him." Every person you encounter in your life is not a random stranger. They are a mirror, a reflection of a facet of your own infinite consciousness. The person who irritates you is reflecting unresolved irritation within you. The person who inspires you is reflecting your own potential for inspiration. The world functions like a perfect and relentless hall of mirrors. Trying to change others, trying to fix the world out there without first changing yourself, is like standing in front of a mirror and trying to change the reflection without moving your face. It's a futile effort that only leads to frustration and resentment. This completely redefines our understanding of problems like poverty, illness, and conflict. They are not external conditions that afflict us. They are states of consciousness that have been externalized. Poverty is not the absence of money. It is the consciousness of lack made manifest. Illness is not just a biological malfunction, it is the consciousness of disharmony embodied in the body. Conflict is not a clash of personalities, it is the consciousness of separation projected into a relationship. They are real in their effects, but their root cause is internal. The divine amnesia, the awakening of the Father. But operating this law like a master is one thing. The final destination of this journey is something far more shocking. It's the moment when you don't just use the power of God, it's the moment you remember that you are Him. This is the deepest truth, the final revelation at the heart of all great mysteries. You are not a part of God, not a child of God, or a creation of God in the sense of being something separate from Him. You are God the Father Himself, living under self-imposed amnesia, a deep sleep to experience life from the perspective of limitation. Life is not a test or a punishment. It is a play, a divine dream, and you are the dreamer dreaming, you are the character. The mystic Neville Goddard described the literal experience of this awakening, which serves as a blueprint for all of humanity. He didn't reach it through intellect, but through direct experience. He awoke inside his own skull as if it were a tomb, pushed the stone aside, and emerged into a new reality. But the definitive moment came later when the biblical figure of King David appeared before him and, looking into his eyes, called him Father. In that instant, all memory returned. It wasn't a new relationship being formed. It was an eternal relationship being remembered. The feeling wasn't surprise, but recognition. Of course, you've always been my son. I had only forgotten. In the Emerald Tablets, Thoth himself describes this archetypal journey. He speaks of his voluntary descent into the darkness of the halls of Amenti and his eventual return to the light. It's the process of forgetting and remembering. He says, "Many and great are the falls of man as he journeys through the ages, but know that light is eternal and darkness is fleeting." This divine amnesia is the fall into matter, the great sleep from which we are all destined to awaken, not as creatures meeting their Creator, but as the Creator remembering His identity. You are dreaming, you are human, dreaming so deeply that you've forgotten you're the dreamer. Every person you meet, every situation you face, every challenge you overcome, all of it is you, the dreamer, creating experiences for yourself. You are the only actor in a play with billions of roles, all played simultaneously by you. You are the hero and the villain, the victim and the aggressor, the lover and the beloved. It is all a divine monologue, an exploration of every facet of your own infinite being. This memory is asleep within you. But the truth is, you don't have to wait for the final awakening to take control. The most important choice of your existence is not in the future. It is happening now, in this very moment. As you read these words, you are at the tipping point. All the knowledge of the universe, all the wisdom of the masters, all the mechanics of creation have been presented to you. The illusion has been exposed, the veil of Maya has been torn, and you've seen behind the curtain. Now, the most crucial question of your life echoes in the silence of your consciousness. What will you do with this? Knowledge without application is just a burden. It's like having a treasure map and using it to fan the fire. You can close this page and return to your old life, trying to forget what you've read. You can continue being an unconscious victim of your own creation, letting fear, propaganda, and old mental patterns dictate your reality. You can keep blaming the world, the system, others for your unhappiness. You can keep spinning the hamster wheel, exhausted and frustrated, waiting for a salvation that will never come from outside. That is one choice. The mental matrix depends on the fact that most will choose the comfort of a familiar prison over the uncertainty of freedom. But there is another choice. You can, in this very moment, claim your throne. You can accept the radical responsibility of being the creator of your experience. You can stop being the clay and consciously become the potter. This doesn't require a dramatic overnight transformation. It begins with a simple but powerful decision. The decision to watch your thoughts, to choose your emotions, to feed your mind with what you want to manifest, instead of feeding on the mental junk the world offers. It begins with the act of stopping, breathing, and remembering who you really are. As Thoth instructs in his final tablet, before retreating into the darkness of Amenti, "Now I go, but my spirit will remain in the lives of men. Listen to my voice and obey." His voice is not an external voice. It is the voice of your own forgotten divinity, the whisper of your soul, calling you to choose freedom over slavery, creation over reaction, power over victimhood. Every second is a new opportunity to answer that call. And when you understand this, your life is never the same again. Because awakening isn't just something that happens in the mind. It transforms how you feel, how you see, how you exist. Now that you've seen the truth, now that you've recognized the game, the illusion no longer holds power over you. If you've made it this far, if this message resonated deep within your soul, it's not a coincidence. It's a sign that your divine memory is awakening. To let me know that you're part of this awakening, write in the comments, "I am the potter." That way, we'll know we're on this journey together, reshaping our reality. Creating content like this, content that challenges the system and seeks truth, requires immense dedication. If you feel the call to support this channel in a more direct way and help us spread this message to more people who need to awaken, there's a contribution link in the first pinned comment. Every bit of help, no matter the size, is vital to the growth of this channel and allows me to continue bringing these truths to light. I'm deeply grateful for any support, but understand, just by watching until the end, you've already given huge support. Your attention is the energy that fuels this work. And if you feel that someone you know needs to hear this, share this video. Freely, you can be the catalyst for someone else's awakening. And before you go, the journey doesn't have to end here. I've selected a special video for you. As the logical next step on this path, it's a piece of content that will dive even deeper into what we've discussed and give you practical tools to apply this knowledge in your daily life. So don't leave just yet. Click the video that's appearing on your screen right now. Let's keep this conversation going. I'll see you there.